Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, we really saw that afternoon cloud cover. It stuck around all weekend, cleared out pretty quickly as we start to see some of this high pressure and these post-frontal conditions as a result of that strong cutoff low making its way across Kansas right now. Now, a beautiful sunset, but we're cooling off pretty quickly, and by tomorrow morning, we could see some early morning mist with some of those lower clouds in the morning. So last night, we dropped all the way down into those upper 50s, made a good run at those lower 80s, and you can see us dropping down about 10 degrees in only a couple hours right now. And we're going to drop about 20 more into those upper 50s, if not those lower 60s. 74 in San Angelo right now. Everybody else joining us in a combination of the lower 70s across the entire region. You know, humidity holds a lot of heat when we talk about daytime heating and those humid conditions. Of course, the same goes for those overnight conditions. While we see 69 in Sterling City, 72 down there in Junction, everybody only a couple degrees apart across the entire Concho Valley. That's because of those high humidity values. Now, when we take a look at them, you can see the humidity indices are up in those 60s and those 70s, while the dew points are in those 60s and those 50s. That's where we could see some of this potential low cloud cover. Now, we talk about valley breezes because it's usually the same thing when you're talking about the early morning and some of that cloud cover. The same goes for like a sea breeze and the afternoon thunderstorms that you would see around the Gulf Coast region. While we look at this high pressure sit over the Concho Valley, we're sort of in that stationary front condition, but as we make our way closer towards Wednesday, we'll see a short wave ridge warm us into those lower 90s. Then some long wave troughing sort of makes its way in, and that'll keep us in those comfortable mid 80s as we get closer towards that homecoming weekend. So things are going to feel more like fall, but pretty pleasant across the entire Concho Valley. When we look at the water vapor imagery, here's the culprit right now with its strong cold front still causing quite a bit of problems, even some hail there in Iowa. And you can see sort of the tail end of that cold front become stationary over the Concho Valley. That's where we're starting to see some of that cloud cover clear out with that dry air. But off the west coast, tracking the next cold front making its way in, where they could see a combination of rain and snow mix across the Rocky Mountains. When we look at the moisture tracker, we're going to watch that cutoff low push off towards the east, keep some of this moisture around Kansas and Oklahoma by the time that second cold front makes its way through, looking pretty intense, and that includes all the way down into the Concho Valley. But we'll see how intense it will get. As we look at the severe weather outlook, you can see it sort of push gradually off towards the east, but that nighttime cooling sort of suppressing that convectivity across the entire Kansas region. You can still see the severe thunderstorm watch being issued for that entire area of Kansas. Spanning up into Nebraska, we'll see when it expires, but of course we're tracking some of that cloud cover around the Concho Valley before that early morning mist we're talking about. Now, you're going to see it sort of push in early morning around 7 a.m. or so. Then you'll see some low clouds sort of hovering around El Dorado, parts of San Angelo. Then it clears out by lunchtime and things will be pretty humid. We'll get up into those upper 80s, if not those lower 90s. Then by Wednesday, it sort of keeps pretty calm. By Thursday, it's going to try again, sort of that post-frontal action where we start to see some of that low cloud cover somewhere around El Dorado and Sonora before things clear up for a beautiful Thursday. So tonight, back down into those upper 50s. We'll see if it doesn't get a little warmer than that, but that cloud cover clearing out pretty quickly. Then tomorrow morning, we'll see the cloud cover push in. Keep on the lookout for some of that low cloud cover. It's going to look like it's going to try to rain. Then it clears out by lunch, and then we warm up pretty quickly with those humid conditions. We continue to warm through Wednesday as we get up into those lower 90s, and by Friday, we're sending everybody back out into the oven because we're still holding strong in those mid 80s as the weekend rolls around, and we're looking at homecoming. Perfect conditions in those mid 80s and those upper 50s, if you ask me, but we're still relatively dry as we get even closer towards Halloween. Stay tuned up more for the break. You're watching KSAN News.